Women made up 61% of Democratic primary voters in South Carolina this weekend, according to CBS exit polling. And unmarried women comprised a bigger percentage of female voters than their married peers. New York Magazine writer Rebecca Traister explores the rising influence and independence of unmarried women in her new book called All the Single Ladies. But she writes, quote, the expanded presence of women as independent entities means a redistribution of all kinds of power that has until recently been wielded mostly by men. The book is published by Simon & Schuster, a division of CBS, and we're going to talk with Rebecca in just a moment. But first, we wanted to see some of her findings in action, so we spoke to unmarried women to get their thoughts on dating, careers, and what makes them feel complete.
You know, I'm single, I'm not married now, so I'll roll with it.
I'm very single right now.
I'm in a 4-year relationship.
I am single as a dollar bill.
I'm single.
I've been with the same guy for 5 years, so we're talking big plans right now.
Every single family party I get asked, do you have a boyfriend? Are you dating?
Sometimes you just don't find the right one right away.
I've never thought about getting married. I don't think I really want to.
I think I would feel a little bit devastated if I didn't get married.
I'm thinking about career goals first.
I just want to be able to have enough time for both, like for a home life and a work life.
I will always choose my family over my career at the end of the day.
My career is really important because then I can't have a family if I can't support them.
Pushing myself professionally as much as I can is way more of a priority.
I don't think the biological clock has hit in full force yet.
5 years from now, I plan to have a family, be married. I plan to marry rich, actually.
The key to me feeling complete is really being my truest and most confident self.
You gotta love yourself as a person to love someone else that much to be married, in my opinion.
Rebecca Traister, good morning. Wow, this is such a terrific book, and I know you spent 5 years researching and putting it together. But what's interesting, what you found is that women choosing to be independent, unmarried, before they're married, you say it's now become a mass behavior. What does that mean?
It means that it's not, even though it leads to sort of unprecedented level of economic, sexual, social independence for women, it's not a politicized action in many cases. Like there was the woman we just saw in that clip who said, I want to prioritize career. Sometimes there are practical considerations that we would think of as kind of liberating and revolutionary, but mostly this has just become the pattern. It used to be between 1890 and 1980, the median age of first marriage for women was just fluctuated between 20 and 22 and didn't go any higher than that, and now it's 27. So it's just become a new pattern for adult female life that marriages begin later and often happen not at all.
In fact, in 1960, young women, 60% of young women were married. Now it's only 20% of young women are married.
So how is that changing us?
It changes everything about the way
Us meaning the general society.
Yeah. It changes everything about the way that the nation works. It changes, I mean, our government and our social policies and our civic institutions are all built with one kind of sort of citizenry pattern in mind, and that's the married, still hetero married pair, in which you have a male earner and a female domestic laborer, and that's not the way the world works anymore. But so our tax policies, our housing policies, even the way that schools let out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and have big summer vacations, the assumption is that there's some number of our population who are going to be home to take care of those children, and the assumption has always been that they're women.
Does it change things like opportunity and pay equity?
Absolutely. Well, if you have a longer period in which women are earning on their own and are economically independent, their economic base often is more solid going into marriages that they're beginning later in life. They're less likely to pay as big a toll as they have historically when they've entered marriages at the beginning of their lives and become sort of automatically dependent on their husbands.
Just in case you can't marry rich.
Yeah, right.
But Charlie asked how it changes us. I mean, immediately it's changing the election right now.
Yes. Well, in 2012, unmarried women were 23% of the electorate. So a quarter of the electorate. And they vote very left. They vote consistently left. They voted for Barack Obama 67-31 over Mitt Romney. And because they require a new set of social policies, they're going to have a tremendous impact. So far, they've been voting left for Bernie by some number, especially in the predominantly white early states. But they're almost certainly going to vote for a Democratic candidate over a Republican in the general election.
And we're seeing that in states across the country?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Not just at the presidential level.
Yes, unmarried women vote Democratic. They require sort of a whole new set of social policies that Democrats are more likely to be behind.
So what about men, too? Men are at the same time are marrying late.
Yes, they are, and the population of single men is growing. One of the differences is that historically men have always been able to live more easily independent lives. They have been more easily able to earn their own livings, to be economically independent, to have sexual lives that were not judged so harshly if they were having sexual lives outside of marriage. That's still relatively new for women, as far as being able to have that kind of social independence and have it be a norm rather than a sort of scandalous or pitiable aberration.
I thought one of the most fascinating things you pointed out, too, about this, the historical significance of single women. This is not the first time that they've had a huge impact on our society.
In the 19th century, when so many men went west for exploration and so many men were killed during the Civil War, there was a dearth of men on the East Coast, and you got a huge population of unmarried women. And a lot of these women whose lives suddenly weren't given over to the responsibilities of wifeliness and motherhood put their energies toward the abolition, suffrage, labor movements, toward the development of new professions, teaching, the expansion of secondary education for
some of the advances in nurses and medicine, nursing and medicine.
Absolutely. Many of those pioneers and those reformers were unmarried women or unconventionally married women.
And you can only hope it means a pervasive penetration of all the major institutions in America.
Absolutely. It's happening. You see unmarried women rising in politics. I mean, we have so few women and so few women of color in politics, and increasingly you see unmarried women, single mothers, late married women, people like Donna Edwards running for Senate in Maryland, Kamala Harris, late married, running in California for the Senate. You see all kinds of single women rising, and they're going to be representing a population that has changed from anything we've ever seen it before.
Rebecca, it's really fascinating, really fascinating. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you so much for
And All the Single Ladies goes on sale tomorrow, and Rebecca is going to be sticking around to answer your questions now. That's on our CBS This Morning Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/CBS This Morning.